Today marks 75 years since VE Day as we commemorate the end of the Second World War in Europe. The music you heard is a recording by our choir that pays tribute to all the fallen who lost their lives in that conflict. In this Easter season, when we think of Christ's own sacrifice in laying down his life for us, and the triumph of life and hope over fear and death through his resurrection, I'm reminded of the words of Christ recorded in St. John's Gospel. Greater love has no one than this, and to lay down one's life for his friends. It resonates with us as we consider the many who have fallen on a very different front line, caring for others and providing essential services, often at great personal risk. The beautiful, haunting sound of the trumpeter playing the last post comes from a member of the RAF stationed here in Lincolnshire, and it's a reminder of our strong links with the armed forces across the county. Both the Royal Lincolnshire Regiment and No. 5 Bomber Command have their rolls of honour held in one of our military chapels. Back in the day of the dark days of conflict and blackouts, Lincoln Cathedral was the navigation point and signal of hope and safe return for pilots coming home from air raids. The cathedral remains a beacon of hope to many and a sign of the gospel message of Jesus Christ as a light shining in the darkness of the world's ills, offering security, refuge, and faith in the abiding presence of God in our midst. Tonight, the cathedral will be lit red, white and blue as many across the nation mark this day with bunting in their windows, picnics at home, online parties with families and friends, or tea and cake on the doorstep. I hope you're going to join in and have some fun. I know I am. In 1945, after the years of war, people spilled out onto the streets to celebrate hope and liberation, freedom from oppression, and a return to peacetime and safety. In these days of a very hidden war against a virus we cannot see, we can draw comfort in the knowledge that, like then, adversity will come to an end, and we will meet again together outside our homes without fear or danger. Celebrating together with symbolic food of bread and wine is a feature of Christian worship. In the picnics at home today, we share a different sort of communion, a shared party, be it virtual or with our household, or at the window with our neighbours, to connect and mark our common life, our shared hopes, and our thanksgiving for past and present heroes. Some, today, will be without the means to join in, neighbours who are worried about how to pay the bills and feed their families. It's why we are supporting the Big Picnic for Hope. It's a fundraiser to support local food banks, using the VE Day commemorations to encourage us all to remember the Dunkirk spirit of World War II and the way that people came together with great effort to support and care for the most vulnerable in desperate times. Food banks, both locally and nationally, are always in need of support, and the COVID-19 crisis has meant that many more people have found themselves relying on them to feed their families. In turn, this means that the food banks need to make their resources stretch further than ever. By donating to the Big Picnic for Hope, you'll be ensuring that another family can share a meal together. So let us make VE Day 75 a day to dedicate ourselves afresh to peace and liberty, to remember with thanksgiving the service and sacrifice of others, and to do something that enacts hope and makes a difference to those who are most in need. The music to end is by Chilcot, sung by our choral scholars who share a household. It's a lovely piece of music which is upbeat, full of optimism and a sense of joy. And I hope that you can encounter that today in your life. So as you enjoy your picnics and virtual parties, may the spirit of love, hope and peace move in your hearts. May it be a day of light and love, of generosity and thanksgiving. We pray for the vulnerable, the lonely and the sick, for the relief of suffering and want, for those on the front line making sacrifices for us all, that all fear and darkness may be cast aside. And may the blessing of God, who is Creator, Redeemer and Sustainer, be upon you and remain with you always. Amen.